Pets have been a part of the lives of many of us from childhood to our senior years. Pets bring comfort, companionship, love, and sometimes protection eagerly and willingly, all to please us. In return, all they need is that we love and care for them. Now, we can lavish love on our pets without question, but the cost of maintaining their health and nutrition is often a hardship for some. I'm Mike Goupel, and today we will meet two people from an extraordinary organization that provides the essential services to assist low-income, elderly, chronically ill, and disabled in keeping their companion pets. The organization is PAWS, P-A-W-S. Pets are wonderful support, and our guests are Dr. Deb Hoffler and Ms. Penny Doolin. Dr. Hoffler, Penny, welcome to PACE TV, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Now, can I call you Deb?
Absolutely.
Can I call you Penny?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Now, Deb, you are on the board of directors of PAWS, are you not?
Yes, I am.
And that you're vice chair, I understand?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. And you also are in charge, or in charge of the fundraiser, the major fundraiser you have every year.
Yes, I'm in charge, or I'm the chair of Fiesta del Paz, which is our main fundraiser. That's where we get about 50% of our donations every year.
I understand it's a fabulous affair.
It is a lot of fun.
Hopefully I'll make it this year.
I hope so too.
Now, Penny, you were a volunteer at one time for PAWS, and now you're a consumer,
Yes.
a client. Well, we'd like to get to your story a little later, but first we'd like to talk a little bit about the organization of PAWS. And tell us, Deb, the mission statement or the mission of PAWS is?
The mission of PAWS, PAWS is a volunteer-driven, nonprofit organization that provides essential services for people's companion animals, and so that they may keep their pets. Now, the people that I'm talking about, our clients, have to be low income, and they're either disabled, chronically ill, or elderly.
Mm-hmm.
Or otherwise, they can't work, and so they need other help to keep their companion animals.
Wonderful. That's a worthy cause. Now, Deb, how long has PAWS been in existence?
PAWS San Diego County was started as PAWS North County in the early 1990s. We merged with another PAWS in lower San Diego County in about 2003 and became PAWS San Diego County. So we've been around for a very long time.
Now, I understand it started off with just one person who thought that there's a need for people that could not afford to maintain the nutrition and the health of their pets. How did that start?
There's a woman named Nancy Lupin, and she saw that people were giving up their pets that should not have to do that. They were either chronically ill or disabled in some way, and she found this gaping hole, and there was no organization to fill it. So she said, I'm going to do something about this, and she started delivering food out of the trunk of her car to people who were bedridden, couldn't get out of the house, and didn't have the money to take care for their animals. So she did that. She worked with the North County Food Bank, and she also worked with a healthcare center in Oceanside to do this.
So I suppose that you probably began with it just by word of mouth.
Absolutely.
And referrals from some of these organizations that were up in North County.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
Now, tell us a little bit about the clients that you serve, both in North County and downtown or in the South County.
Yes. Well, right now we serve all of San Diego County, all the way down Chula Vista, El Cajon, and up into Vista in the North County area. 87% of our clients live alone with their pets. So for most of our clients, their pets are not just pets. They're their children, they're their companions. They're their reason for getting up in the morning and getting out and doing things and staying as able-bodied and able-minded as they can.
Mm-hmm. And as you've stated before, they almost always live alone.
Yes.
Almost all these
Yes.
people that's all they have is their pets.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly.
And all of these people are at the level of low income to the poverty level, I understand.
Yes. Federal guidelines of low income or poverty in order to qualify to be a client.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And basically, the people that come to us are people that have no other means they're not able-bodied, they can't work, they're chronically ill, they have a disability, or they're elderly and they shouldn't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say about 50% of our clients are elderly, 50% are on DSSI or have a disability or are chronically ill. Right now we serve over 700 clients
Mm-hmm.
and 1,000 companion animals, and we're growing rapidly, especially in this economy. A lot of our clients, they'll ask for help for their pet before they'll ask for help for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll call us and say, I'm going to have to give up my child, my companion,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to have to do that. And so we will provide them with food once a month. A lot of times the volunteers that come to their apartments or houses, it's their only person that comes and visits on a regular basis. So they develop friendships.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times our volunteers will see if they have other needs, and they will call in other services to help as
I
well.
see. Now that gives us an opportunity to talk to Penny. Penny, you were a volunteer at one time with Paws.
Yes, I sure was.
Tell us a little bit about what you did in those days and some of the experiences you had helping others, delivering food, in some cases for the animals.
I didn't really deliver too much food because of the lifting. I've had a bad back for a number of years now. But for several years, I was picking up pets and taking them to the groomers
Mm-hmm.
and doing pet runs to the vaccination clinics and stuff that Paws also sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sometimes quite an experience just getting the pets into my car.
I'll bet. Yeah.
They don't like to ride in cars a lot of times, but it was fun. And I did that for a number of years and met some wonderful people that just couldn't get out of their homes and take their pets to the groomer.
Uh-huh.
But it was fun.
Oh, that's interesting. And now, as we said earlier, you're a client, and we'll cover that just a little later about how that came about. But to get back to the organization itself, now you have people that volunteer to deliver food, obviously, and then you have a veterinary situation where there's vouchers. I understand they're available. Tell us a little bit about that and as far as maintaining the health of the animal. How does that work?
Well, Paws has three main areas where we assist people. One is we provide food and kitty litter once a month. We do over 250 food deliveries a month, and therefore people are able to keep their companion animals that way. The second big thing we do is we have a veterinary fund. We have an emergency fund and a regular veterinary fund, and each of our clients is allotted $200 per pet per year to be able to maintain the well-being of their pet through veterinary services. If their pet has a problem or an issue, they'll give us a call. We will send a voucher to the veterinarian. We'll fax it to them even before the client gets to the office. And so the veterinarian knows that he or she has X number of dollars that they can utilize to take care of our client's pet.
Mm-hmm. Now, are there certain veterinarians that subscribe to this program?
Absolutely. We work with, right now, over 70 veterinarians in San Diego County. A lot of our veterinarians are gracious enough to give us discounts for our clients, and it's just a win-win situation for everyone.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the other jobs that the volunteers provide other than veterinary support and delivering food?
The third main area is we provide dog walking services if our clients are bedridden. If they have to go to the hospital for a short period of time, we will foster the dogs. We'll take them to their grooming appointments, veterinary appointments, and basically just help out wherever we're needed.
Mm-hmm.
And we also, the last thing we do is we act as a referral institution, meaning that if we get a phone call from a client, even if we can't help them with what their problem is, we will refer them to the appropriate agency. So in that way, Paws is a little bit bigger than just what we do.
Now, for instance, if one of your people comes to evaluate a client's needs and notices there are other concerns, not only the pet, but there are other concerns that might need some attention, how does that work?
Well, and we've had that happen. We had a woman that she was on disability, I believe, and her apartment was just completely cluttered. It was, what you see on TV where you have to walk through the little halls. And so we called in an organization that came in and cleaned it for her, hauled out, bags and bags and bags of trash. Other organizations had tried to do this for her, but she would not do it. She didn't trust them. But because we were taking care of her dog, she trusted us to bring in people who wouldn't do anything to her, and we were able to clean up her apartment. We've had other cases where we've had to bring in Elderly Protective Services, Meals on Wheels, and other organizations to help our clients out. And I think we're able to do that because we do develop a level of trust with our clients because we are taking care of their pets. And that helps us kind of get our foot in the door, whereas otherwise they may not ask for help and they may continue to go without when it really is not necessary.
Yeah. I've heard stories, Deb, where some clients, some people will provide food for their dogs and deprive themselves of food. And I've heard stories about people eating dog food because it was there and they couldn't afford to bring food for themselves into their home.
Absolutely. We had a client, that happened several years ago with us. We had a client who was buying a big 30-pound bag, or she was asking for a big 30-pound bag of pet food every month. And she said she had a German Shepherd. And we do client intakes, meaning we go to clients' houses. And we were a little bit behind at that time period, so it took us a couple months to get to her house. Well, it turns out she had a little Chihuahua. And she was also eating the dog's food. So we were able to refer her to Meals on Wheels because she was elderly. And we were able to get her set up with that organization so she would no longer have to do that. So yes, we encounter that more often than we care to think.
It's very sad. And of course, I'm sure there are cases where the animal may be ill.
Yes.
And the owner may not be aware of it or not want to face the fact that the animal is sick.
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
Again, because our volunteers actually come into the house and check things out once a month, a lot of them do that. We're able to assess situations and say, hey, you know what, let's help you get your companion, your cat, your dog to the veterinarian and get this taken care of. And we assist them by doing the vouchers, and a lot of times we'll help them through the process as well.
Sure. And if it's a case where unfortunately the animal is not going to survive or has to face that eventuality, I'm sure you're there to aid in that respect as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's got to be a terrible, difficult thing to deal with for the owner, especially.
And matter of fact, because we are very, very aware of that, we've just teamed up with San Diego Pet Memorial Park, and they will be providing services for our clients at no cost.
Well, just to refer back to what you said earlier, there are a number of organizations that you paired up with to provide services. Just run through those again, would you please?
We refer to Meals on Wheels, Mama's Kitchen, and various other SNAP for spaying and neutering. We send them to vaccine clinics for less expensive vaccines. We work with different counselors for especially people that are disabled. A lot of them have counselors and whatnot that they work with, and we will work with them. We're referred by them a lot of times as well.
That was one of the things I understand you, as part of the prerequisite for being a client, is that your pet has to be neutered?
Neutered, yes. In order to be a client, your pet has to be spayed or neutered and be up to date on their vaccines.
And once that's established and the other criteria established, they're home free as far as getting services.
Absolutely. And a couple of things we found. One is we're keeping pets out of shelters, which is just fabulous. Two is we're keeping clients out of hospitals, which
very
is
important.
even more important, I think. We are helping people through their pets. And I think that is what makes PAWS unique. We're the only organization that does that. So we are not only helping the pets, which being a veterinarian I think is wonderful, but we're also helping the clients. And we're helping their quality of life. And a lot of times we're helping them get through a disability that may not be a permanent disability, by allowing them to keep their pets so they get out of bed, they go do their exercises, they go do what they need to do to keep themselves healthy as well.
Wonderful. I'd like to discuss with you also something I was unaware of, that there were occasions where physicians have prescribed pets for people. But before we do that, I'd like to just step over to Penny for a bit and talk about your experience, Penny, as a client, as the aid you received from PAWS, and how that's helped you and made a difference in your life?
Without pause, I don't think I'd be on this earth.
Really?
It has kept me out of the hospital, like Deb said. I've been in the hospital a number of times for various surgeries, dealing with cancer and back surgeries. Instead of going to a nursing home, I came home from the hospital because I needed to be home with my kids. My kids are my dogs.
Now, your kids' names are?
Noah, he's
Noah.
11 and a half Cocker
I
Spaniel.
met Noah,
And
yes.
Pixie.
And Pixie.
She's a little over a year old. She's a terror. She's a toy Chihuahua and Fox Terrier mix.
Now, I understand they were both rescue dogs?
They're both rescues.
Which
And,
means for our viewers' information, just in case they don't know.
they would have been destroyed or led miserable lives
I
if I
see.
hadn't stepped in and taken them. Of course, they've both been neutered and spaded, and without them, my life would be miserable. Because they give me a reason to get up in the morning. They make sure I take my medications on time because they get treats when I take my medication. The little one makes sure that I go out and take her for walks 3 times a day. So I get out of the house. She likes to go to certain shops in town so that she gets her cookies. So I go out and I meet people that I wouldn't normally meet.
That's remarkable. It really is. People don't realize the importance of your animal companions, especially when you live alone and you have other things you're dealing with.
They're very important to me.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Yeah. Now, Deb, let's get back to the prescribing of a pet. I find that intriguing. Tell us how that works.
Well, we've known for a very, very long time that if you pet an animal, you lower your blood pressure. I mean, that's been around forever. But what physicians are realizing is it goes beyond that, way beyond that. That having a pet not only lowers your blood pressure, it actually boosts your immune system and does other things to keep you healthier. And so, yes, physicians are prescribing animals for those reasons, and they keep your mind off of your own ills.
They do.
You know, if you're having to focus on this animal, you're not focusing on what's wrong with you. And in that respect, you will heal better and faster. I mean, I just read an article in the paper how they are realizing now that attitude has as much to do with how well you heal as the doctor's care. And pets are a huge part of that.
Yes, and they love without condition.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know in my own case when I was a child, and my mother was ill, my father was out of town on a business trip, and the dog would not leave her side at all, not to relieve itself, not to eat, for like 3 or 4 days.
Yes.
And that made a big difference in her recovery. So I find the relationship between an animal and a human. It's
incredible.
It is. It certainly is.
It's something to celebrate.
Absolutely. Now, you outreach to the rest of the community.
Uh-huh.
Now, tell us a little bit about we touched a little bit on the relationship between a human and an animal, but when someone is ill or incapacitated, that animal takes on a larger significance, does it not?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We go about our daily lives and we have our pets and they're part of it, but we have this whole other life that the pet are not a part of. When you become chronically ill or bedridden or homebound for whatever reason, that whole other life seems to fade. And then you have your pet who's loving you unconditionally, who doesn't care that your back hurts or that you have cancer or that, whatever is wrong with you. They don't care. And so that animal takes on a much, much greater significance. And as I said, it gives people somewhere to go other than within themselves.
I understand.
And it helps keep them around and keep them doing and being productive members of society.
Absolutely. And as Penny says, she gets out to the community,
Yeah.
where she probably would not have if it wasn't for the fact that she had a pet that needed to be exercised.
Right.
Now, all of this is wonderful and it's remarkable, but there are no free lunches.
No.
Everything costs money.
Yes.
And I understand you only have one major fundraiser a year, although it's a doozy. It's a great one.
It's a great one. We have grants. We have grants. But more importantly, we rely on individuals and individual giving. And that can be in the form of volunteerism,
Mm-hmm.
volunteering your time, either to do a pet food route, deliver pet food, help walk a dog, work in our office answering phones, doing paperwork. All of those things we rely on volunteers for. We also rely on individuals with monetary donations. We have a Ristorante del Paz.
Say it again.
Ristorante del Paz every year that we send out to our donor base, and we say, donate a week's worth of food, $35. And then we also have people who do pet food drives for us. We work with San Diego Food Bank, and we get pet food from them. But we also have people that will work. We have a teacher in La Jolla whose class every year collects dog and cat food for us. But we need more of that. We need people if people would want to work with their school, their church, their civic organization and do pet food drives for us, we would love that.
That sounds great, yeah. And somebody watching now who may not be necessarily a pet owner, but has fond memories of when they had a pet or a pet had them. Sometimes that happens.
Absolutely.
What would you recommend?
I would recommend they call PAWS, or they go on our website, and whatever they would love to do. If they would like to donate their time, we would love to have their expertise, whatever they can give. If they would love to do a monetary donation, that will go into our veterinary fund. It goes directly into our veterinary fund, and they will utilize it for keeping somebody's companion animal healthier. Or if they want to organize a pet food drive, we're always in need of pet food. We're always right on the edge.
Really?
We donated 24 tons of pet food last year.
That's a lot.
And kitty litter.
Wow.
Yes.
That's something. And Penny,
Yes.
what would you say to someone who wanted to volunteer, as you did, just to help out as any way they can?
Anything. Walk a dog. Go visit somebody who's sick and has a pet. Take a pooper scooper. Clean up their backyard. Anything. Drive a pet to the vet. Take a pet to the groomer. Anything. Every volunteer is necessary.
Yes. Absolutely.
Every volunteer is needed desperately. I mean, I can hardly drive anymore. I do very little driving. But when I was, it is so much fun. The rewards are fantastic.
And you spend some quality time with various people?
Oh, the people are wonderful. And you meet some great people and some wonderful pets. You really do. They're fantastic animals. And they really do appreciate it.
I'm sure they do. Now, Deb, we only have a few minutes left. I'm interested in just how you got involved. Well, as a veterinarian, number one, you must love animals.
Yeah.
But how did you get involved with PAWS?
Actually, one of my clients, Ms. Betty Jamison Dunn, started dropping hints every time she came into the office with her dog about this wonderful organization that she was a part of. She was on the board of directors. And so after about 6 months of this, I went to a board of directors meet and greet and agreed with her. I had to agree with her. The people that I work with are dynamic. It's so nice to give and not expect anything back. And I think the other board members feel the same way. We have a lawyer, veterinarian, a professor at SDSU. All of the board members are professionals, and we have 9 of us right now. And we have chosen PAWS because it is unique, and we enjoy what we can do for PAWS without expecting anything in return.
Wonderful. And that's what volunteers do.
Absolutely.
As you know, and as Penny knows. Any closing comments that you'd like to pass on to our viewers about PAWS or about being a volunteer? Penny?
Just that pets are wonderful support for everybody. Whether you own one or they own you, doesn't make any difference. They are good support.
That's a good message. And Deb?
I'll have to echo that sentiment. Pets are wonderful support. The human-animal bond is incredible. It can accomplish incredible things, and please support us.
Now, Fiesta del Paz,
Yes, it's June 14th,
June 14th this year, but it's every June of every year.
every June of every year.
So
Yes.
people should keep their eye out and an ear out for any announcements that might come about, or you have a website, I'm sure.
We have a website. It's
Yes.
www.pawssdc, so PAWSSDC.org.
And how about a telephone number?
Telephone number I don't have memorized.
We'll have it up on the screen. But they can call you, or they can
Absolutely.
email you and find out what's available as far as volunteering opportunities, where to send donations, and it's a wonderful organization that I'm sure people want to be a part of.
Yes. Yeah, and that's all on our website as well. There's a link to volunteering opportunities and